I still remember how it all started 5 years ago. My ex-girlfriend and I met through mutual friends at a local coffee shop. She was struggling at the time, no steady job, living paycheck to paycheck, and sharing a cramped apartment with her sister. Despite her circumstances, she had this spark in her eyes and determination that drew me to her. After her sister decided to move in with her boyfriend, she was left scrambling to find a place. I offered to let her stay at my place temporarily. I lived in my parents' house, but we had plenty of space in our finished basement. My parents were understanding and agreed to help. I wanted to see her succeed. I spent countless hours helping her prepare for job interviews, driving her to work when her bus ran late, and even helped her study for her certification exam. When she finally landed a stable job at the same company where I worked, we were both thrilled. It felt like things were finally falling into place. The next couple of years were a mix of good times and challenges. We had our share of arguments, mostly about small things that seemed important at the time. She struggled with mood swings and could be harsh with people sometimes, which was different from my more reserved nature. Still, we made it work. We went on weekend trips, planned our future together, and even picked out names for the kids we hoped to have someday. But things started changing when she got a new job at a warehouse across town. The night shifts were tough on both of us, but I supported her decision because the pay was better. I noticed she started putting more effort into her appearance for work, something that seemed odd for a warehouse job. She'd come home later and later, always with a different excuse about overtime or traffic. Looking back, I should have seen the signs. The late-night texts she'd hide from me, the sudden work emergencies that needed her attention on her days off, the way she'd get defensive when I asked about her day. But I trusted her completely. Maybe that was my biggest mistake. Then came the day I discovered messages on our shared tablet. She'd been seeing someone from work, a guy with a flashy car and smooth talk. The messages were filled with plans for dates and meetups, all during times she told me she was working late. My world crumbled that day. Years of trust and shared dreams shattered in an instant. When I confronted her, she laughed it off like our relationship meant nothing. She blamed me for not being romantic enough, for not wanting to move into our own apartment sooner, for supposedly not showing her enough attention. But I knew better. Our friends saw how much I cared for her, the surprise dinner dates, the sports events I'd take her to even when I was recovering from my back injury, the smoothies I'd make her every morning because she said they helped with her stress. The breakup was messy. She moved out, but the drama was far from over. She spread lies about me to her new boyfriend, claiming I had been abusive, something that infuriated my family, who had witnessed our entire relationship firsthand. They knew how patient I'd been, even when she'd have her episodes and threaten self-harm if I tried to leave. What hurt the most wasn't losing her. It was realizing that the person I thought I knew, the one I'd supported and loved for years, could turn into a complete stranger overnight. The same woman who once threatened to hurt herself if I ever left her was now walking away, without a second glance, spreading vicious lies about our time together. But this was just the beginning of my story. The next few months would test me in ways I never expected, forcing me to confront truths about myself and about love that I wasn't ready to face. The weeks after she left were the hardest. I couldn't sleep or eat properly. My mind kept replaying our memories, trying to pinpoint where things went wrong. Like an idiot, I kept texting her, apologizing for things that weren't even my fault, sorry for not buying her flowers every week, sorry for not holding her hand enough in public. She rarely replied, and when she did, it was cold and distant. 2 weeks after the breakup, she agreed to meet and talk. I thought maybe we could fix things, or at least I could understand what really happened. We met at a local park, and the conversation was nothing like I expected. Instead of addressing the cheating, she talked about how our relationship had lost its spark after 5 years. She complained that I wasn't affectionate enough in public, that we weren't as exciting as we used to be. Not once did she mention her betrayal or show any regret. I noticed she had already changed her phone wallpaper. Our picture was replaced with some quote about self-love. She had even changed her password, which used to be our anniversary date. It was like she was erasing every trace of our relationship. The situation with her living arrangements became another source of drama. She claimed she was sleeping in her car at various parking lots because she had nowhere to go. My parents, despite everything, offered to let her stay in our spare room until she found a place. They didn't want her sleeping in parking lots, especially during winter. But she refused. I later discovered why. A friend spotted her car parked regularly at her new boyfriend's house in Cedar Heights, 3 towns over. All her stories about sleeping in parking lots were lies. She had moved in with him almost immediately after leaving me. Even while living with him, she kept playing games. When she came to collect her things, she always brought him along, having him parked down the street like I wouldn't notice. I was still taking care of her pets during this time, trying to be civil despite everything. But one day, I had enough. I told her to take her remaining stuff and her pets and leave me alone for good. That's when she switched tactics. She threatened to take me to court over the pets, claiming I was trying to keep them from her. Then minutes later, she would beg me to keep watching them, saying, "If you ever loved me, you'll do this." It was emotional manipulation, plain and simple. Eventually, she took the pets with her new boyfriend's help. Things got weird the following month. She moved back in with her mom, and suddenly I started getting messages from random accounts, all her. She was begging for another chance, saying she was sorry and wanted to fix things. She claimed she wasn't dating the new guy anymore, though they were still talking. Each message had about 50 pleas in it. I ignored them all. My sadness had turned to anger and motivation to improve myself. She didn't stop there. She created fake email accounts, reached out to my friends, and even had her siblings message me. They asked how I could throw it all away, as if she hadn't been the one who cheated. The messages kept coming for weeks, then suddenly stopped when she found a new apartment. I thought it was finally over. I was starting to feel better, working out regularly, focusing on my job, and spending time with friends who had stuck by me through everything. Then out of nowhere, her new boyfriend messaged me. The message from her new boyfriend was aggressive and bizarre. He claimed he was going to hurt me for supposedly abusing her daily for years. This was completely false. My parents and siblings who lived with us could verify that. But she had created this fictional version of our relationship where I was the villain and she was the victim. Even though he was younger than me, he bragged about being more mature. He kept going on about how much better their relationship was and made crude comments about their intimate life. I tried handling it like an adult, telling him to move on and be happy with her. I even mentioned how she had been messaging me constantly for a month trying to get back together. He didn't care about that part. He just kept threatening me and bragging. The whole situation was surreal. The quiet, fun-loving girl I'd known for years had transformed into someone who would endanger my family by telling lies that provoked her new boyfriend. The same person who once cried when I forgot to text goodnight was now painting me as an abuser to justify her cheating. The social media drama was another headache. Even though I had blocked her everywhere, friends would tell me about her posts. She was sharing quotes about being treated better in 2 months than in 3 years, clearly aimed at our relationship. I stayed away from social media drama. I've always believed relationships should be private, not entertainment for others. Then recently, after months of no contact, she messaged me again. This time she accused me of hacking her accounts and deleting our old photos together. I haven't even thought about her accounts. I was too busy rebuilding my life. Maybe her boyfriend did it, or maybe she was just creating drama to get my attention. Either way, I didn't respond. Looking back at everything, the signs were always there. How she would threaten suicide with pills in her hand whenever I suggested breaking up in the past. How she became defensive about her phone. How she always needed constant attention, but gave little in return. The way she could switch her emotions instantly depending on what she wanted. The experience taught me a lot about myself and relationships. I realized that loving someone doesn't mean letting them manipulate you. That supporting someone should come with boundaries. That sometimes the person you're trying to save doesn't want to be saved. They just want to use your help until something better comes along. I'm in a better place now. The pain isn't completely gone, but it's different. It's more like disappointment in myself for ignoring the red flags, for letting someone take advantage of my kindness. But I won't let this experience make me bitter. If anything, it's made me stronger and wiser. The threats from her boyfriend have stopped, and the dramatic social media posts have slowed down. I focus on my work, my family, and my own growth. Some days are harder than others, but I'm no longer that person who would apologize for things I didn't do, or chase someone who clearly doesn't value me. People ask if I regret helping her, giving her a place to stay, teaching her to drive, helping her find a job. I don't. Those actions came from a genuine place, and I won't apologize for being kind. But I've learned that kindness needs wisdom to guide it. That love shouldn't mean losing yourself. That sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away and let people face the consequences of their choices. I still believe in love and relationships, but now I know what to look for, and more importantly, what to avoid. I know that real love doesn't come with threats or manipulation. It doesn't demand constant proof or turn into hatred overnight. And most importantly, it doesn't require you to defend yourself against lies told by someone who once claimed to love you. The healing process isn't linear. Some days I feel completely over it, and others I catch myself thinking about the good times. But I keep moving forward. After all, that's the only direction worth going. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.